voll integriert hatten und wussten, wie geht der Panzerfaust. Es war irgendwo auch ein Ehrgeiz.
I think I was ambitious, but I don't think I expected to die for Hitler. We wanted to fight the people who were hurting us so much. If you can only imagine how much I hated those people, the ones who were bombing us. If they'd come to Stuttgart, I would have fired my bazooka at them.
Like the boys of the Hitler Youth, the BDM girls had been drawn in to fighting Hitler's increasingly desperate war. But he would still ask them to make one final sacrifice. The final months of the war saw millions of young men die on the battlefield. Germany was now facing a population crisis. The Third Reich looked to the BDM girls to provide the armies of the future. The strict moral code of the 1930s was collapsing. Heinrich Himmler, the head of the SS, had already set up Nazi maternity homes for a very specific purpose.
Rassisch und erbbiologisch wertvolle werdende Mütter unterzubringen und zu betreuen, bei denen nach sorgfältiger Prüfung der eigenen Familie und der Familie des Erzeugers anzunehmen ist, dass gleich wertvolle Kinder zur Welt kommen.
In fact, these were maternity homes for unmarried mothers. They were called the Lebensborn, the source of life. Their purpose quickly became shrouded in myth.
She was a leader in the BDM. She was away for a while and came back pregnant, although she was unmarried and didn't ever marry. They said she went to the Lebensborn and gave the Führer a child.
Women without a man who wanted a child went there for 3 weeks to the handsome studs, the blonde Teutonic German giants, and if they were lucky, they became pregnant.
There was an element of truth in these rumors, and some BDM girls had no choice in the matter.
Meine Schwester war in einem Mädchenlager untergebracht und
My sister was in a BDM camp, and there was a boys' camp right next door.
Die Leiter von beiden Lagern.
One night, the directors of both camps opened the doors and windows of the girls' dorm when the girls had already gone to bed. Then they sent the Labour Service boys over to the girls' camp. And of course they went for it.
Das Mädchenlager geschickt und die fielen dann natürlich über die Mädchen her.
As the Red Army advanced towards Berlin, the BDM girls faced the wrath of soldiers bent on revenge.
In diesen von deutschen Truppen wiedereroberten Orten ist jedes Haus von den Grausamkeiten bolschewistischer Soldateska gezeichnet. Die Bestialitäten sind zu ungeheuerlich, als dass alles gezeigt werden könnte, was die Kamera festhielt.
For once, Hitler's propaganda machine was telling the truth.
I was on the run for months. You have no idea. They hunted us like rabbits. They came night after night and smashed our doors in. They said, "Where woman, I want to..." I won't say the word, but I can still hear the women screaming.
I thought the soldier was going to shoot me. I didn't know the facts of life. In a way, I was grateful. I was glad to be alive. But of course, it was terrible.
As Berlin fell, Hitler committed suicide.
Aus dem Führerhauptquartier wird gemeldet, dass unser Führer Adolf Hitler heute Nachmittag in seinem Befehlsstand in der Reichskanzlei bis zum letzten Atemzuge gegen den Bolschewismus kämpfend für Deutschland gefallen ist.
Ich habe hemmungslos geweint.
I wept uncontrollably. It seems inconceivable today. It was as if a close relative had died.
BDM girls were distraught.
Mir ist eine Welt zusammengebrochen. Ne?
My world fell apart. I loved being in the BDM and its junior section. Everything else was a different matter. I never understood that the two things went together.
Dass das zusammengehört, habe ich nie begriffen.
After the death of Hitler, the ordeal continued for many BDM girls. They were ordered to visit concentration camps to see what had been done in their name.
Schuldig von etwas Schlechtem.
We were guilty of being enthusiastic about something bad and applauding it. I feel that is a type of guilt.
How much the German people really knew about the Holocaust is still disputed today.
We didn't know about anything. That's what I can't understand or grasp. Perhaps I don't want to. People still say, you must have known. We didn't.
Es war bekannt, dass es das KZ gibt.
We knew about concentration camps and torture. We knew they made lampshades from human skin. We knew they pulled people's gold fillings out. I knew all that at 12.
Also ich wusste das alles mit 12.
We didn't know, and no one believes us. It's so terrible. Of course, our knowing wouldn't have changed anything. I'd have lost my idealism even earlier, but I wouldn't have been able to change anything.
Many BDM girls are still struggling to come to terms with what they once believed.
Natürlich fühlt man sich
Of course, one doesn't feel free of guilt.
von Schuld, nur
But on the other hand, one tells oneself that we were abused as children.
sind eben als Kinder
But we didn't even realize we were being abused.
gar nicht begriffen,
We thought that what we'd been trained to believe was true.
geglaubt, dass das wahr ist, woran wir zu glauben gewöhnt wurden. Erkennen müssen, dass man an
Having to recognize that we'd believed in a false ideal, that the whole thing was a fraud, and that we'd simply been abused. That really hurts.
Einfach missbraucht worden ist, das tut furchtbar weh.
The BDM girls had dedicated their childhood to serving Hitler. 60 years later, the legacy of Nazi Germany continues to haunt them.